Blog Talk Radio.
Franchise interviews. From Easton, Pennsylvania to Sydney, Australia, you're listening to Franchise Interviews. Franchise Interviews. Welcome to Franchise Interviews. Franchise Interviews has been giving an up-close, behind-the-scenes look at franchising and entrepreneurship. Listen to interviews with franchisers, franchisees, franchise authors, franchise experts, and attorneys. And now, welcome your host, Marty McDermott, and Franchise Interviews.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 10 years, we've been asking the Franchpreneurs who own one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott. I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and we have a great show today. Well, today is day 5 of our 12 days of franchising, where each day from December 12th to December 24th, we'll ask Santa for a particular franchise. And on the 5th day of Christmas, we ask Santa for the AAN Sales and Lease franchise opportunity, which you have to listen to the interview to find out why. And here comes the AAN's franchise sales and lease opportunity.
At T-Mobile, we're declaring the end of data limits. Introducing T-Mobile One. One price, all unlimited for everyone. That's right. Get unlimited 4G LTE data on your smartphone on our network that was built to handle it. And get it at a price that won't break the bank. With 4 lines of unlimited LTE data for just $35 a line per month with autopay. Switch today.
Top 3% of data users greater than 26 gigabytes per month may see reduced speeds until next bill cycle. Video typically streams at 480p with qualifying credit discount via bill credit plus taxes and fees.
Blog Talk Radio. Blog Talk Radio.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 7 years now, we've been asking the Franchpreneurs who own one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott. I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and we have a great show today. Today, Franchise Interviews is celebrating 7 years and our 350th show with the AAN's franchise opportunity. And AAN's is North America's leader in the sales and lease ownership of household necessities, which includes brand name furniture, appliances, electronics, and computers. And today we're going to be meeting with the vice president of AAN's, which is Todd Evans. Ranked number 21 in Entrepreneur Magazine's Franchise 500 out of thousands of different franchise concepts. AAN's was also ranked number 3 by Forbes magazine among the top 20 for franchise for the buck. They now have more than 2,000 showrooms across the United States and Canada, and they've been in business now for 57 years now, so quite amazing. So we put a lot of thought as far as who we would like to have on our anniversary show. We've had some really amazing guests over the last 7 years. One of our most memorable shows was from 7 years ago with Todd Evans, who, again, is the vice president of AAN's. And so today in part 1, you're going to hear clips from that interview that we did 7 years ago. So that's going to be quite interesting. Then what we're going to do in part 2 is we're going to bring Todd Evans back into the studio, and we're going to discuss where AAN's is today in 2013. So that should be quite interesting. In part 3, you're going to hear our interview with the legendary marketing doctor, Dr. John Tantillo. And then in part 4, you're going to hear a clip from our Great Quotes in Franchising podcast. This was one of our top podcasts that we had from our Great Quotes in Franchising podcast. So we got a lot going on today. So why don't we take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with Franchise Interviews. Here's Rita's.
Are you one of those special people who are willing to go after your dreams and goals? Are you ready to fulfill that dream of owning your own business with the security of a proven brand? The opportunity to take control of your future and own a Rita's Italian Ice franchise is within your reach.
Rita's is seeking success-oriented individuals who are ready to make a change in their life, and Rita's offers unparalleled training and support to assure your success. And did you know the frozen treat industry is a recession-proof industry, and there are Rita's in 23 states currently with 540 stores open. Rita's Italian Ice has been around for 25 years and is listed as a top-performing franchise by the Wall Street Journal.
Now here's the really good part. Rita's Italian Ice is a unique and amazing taste treat. It's smoother than a snow cone, and it combines ice with real fresh fruit. The real fruit adds dramatically to the taste, and it comes in over 40 flavors. The ice and fruit are mixed on site and made fresh daily, and it is delicious.
You'll want to know more about this exciting and successful franchise opportunity. Go to www.ownaritas.com and get all your questions answered. That's www.ownaritas.com to take control of your dreams and future today. You don't want to wait any longer to be a part of this adventure. www.ownaritas.com.
Are you looking for a franchise that delivers? Businesses will always need shipping, and for more than 25 years, loyal customers have depended on Unishippers for reliable savings and exceptional customer service. Unishippers is focused on just one thing: helping small and medium-sized businesses save time and money on all their shipping needs. And as the largest reseller of complete shipping services in the country, we have the buying power to ensure that we succeed. The Unishippers franchise offers low startup costs, no equipment or real estate required because they're not retail, residual income, and a quality of life and work-life balance. For more information on becoming a Unishippers franchisee, go to www.unishippers.com and click Franchise Opportunities, or call Franchise Development at 801-708-5822. That's 801-708-5822.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 7 years now, we've been asking the entrepreneurs one-on-one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott. I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and as we were saying earlier, we have a great show today. One of our most memorable shows came from 7 years ago. It was an interview we did with Todd Evans, the vice president of the Aaron's franchise opportunity. So today in part one, you're going to hear clips of that interview that we did from 7 years ago. So why don't we go right into that interview, and we'll be right back with more franchise interviews.
There.
That's funny.
What has been the most interesting thing that's happened to you, Todd, since joining Aaron's?
Oh, probably watching our franchisees really become wealthy beyond their wildest dreams.
Yeah.
And it is pretty impressive, just the sales and profit of some of your franchisees. I was really looking at it on the website. Already knew about it. You guys are very well known, but yeah, that is impressive.
Well, it is, and for me, the interesting thing is watching our franchisees really become successful. And I'll tell you a quick story. I remember talking with one of our franchisees in a Denny's restaurant down in the Valley in extreme South Texas many years ago, and I remember him leaning back in that booth and hearing him slide across that vinyl seat, and he said, "Now, what is it that you guys do again?" And I was explaining our business to him, and at our recent managers meeting in Dallas, this particular franchisee came up to me. We've bought some stores from him, and he still operates some stores. And he said, "Hey, Todd, did I show you some pictures of my new house in Hawaii?"
Oh, that's incredible.
And he's bought himself a beautiful 2-acre spread there in Hawaii, and it just does me good to see our franchisees really be that successful.
Oh, right. Absolutely. It's very rewarding. Yeah, you play an important role in their lives, Todd.
Well, we do, and I recognize the enormity of the decision it is for these prospective franchisees that they're making to become part of the Aaron's family. And with that in mind, we really try to give them as much information as we possibly can up front prior to them ever becoming a franchisee, and actually say no to a lot of folks that inquire and want to become an Aaron's franchisee because they just don't have the right prerequisites for our business.
Right. Yeah, I've read you guys are very selective too, Todd, as far as like, your franchisees, and I know that you actually have some of them work in the stores before they actually become franchisees, right? Like they work up front, then they work in the back, they're manager for a day. I think it's like a 3-day program or something like that.
Yeah, a lot of times in the development process when you're talking to a prospective franchisee or sales process, folks kind of get preconceived notions about what the business is all about and how it works. And one of the things that we really like to do with prospective franchisees is give them what I call a baptism. We put them in a store for 3 days, and we have them spend a day on what we call the front end of the business, which is working with customers on the showroom floor, feature benefit selling, processing order forms, and they actually shadow an existing sales manager in a store. The second day, we have them spend in the non-renewals office, which is the office in our stores where we call customers that are past due, that haven't come in and renewed their lease agreements. And then the third day, we have them shadow a general manager who, is kind of responsible for the overall operations of the store. And at the end of those 3 days, we have prospective franchisees come up and say, I love this business, I'm very excited about moving forward. We have others come up to us and go, this is nothing like I thought, and I don't have any interest in doing this. And thank God they discovered that prior to becoming a franchisee. So that's a great program that we have.
Absolutely, I think, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
It really is.
Saves both sides just a lot of time and ultimately money. How would you describe, Todd, the Aaron Sales and Lease ownership franchise opportunity?
Well, I guess you would expect me to say this. In my humble opinion, it's the best franchise opportunity out there. As you guys well know, there are 4,000 or so different franchise opportunities out there. But Aaron's has a rock solid program. We've been around for many, many years. We operate a lot of company stores, so there's really nothing that happens in a store that we can't talk to you about. As you know, some franchisors only have maybe a couple of units that they operate corporately, and then maybe 500 or so franchises. So I think that our depth of knowledge in the business gives us a tremendous advantage in working with, on a consultative basis, our franchisees. And then the other thing I think that's really big about Aaron's is we actually are involved financially with our franchisees in that we have an inventory financing program set up with a syndicate of banks, and we actually guarantee the inventory financing debt for our franchisees. So we're very, very involved in the day-to-day aspects of their business.
Right, absolutely. What's the atmosphere like in this store, Todd? Like I've read that, Don and I were talking earlier in segment 1, the importance of atmosphere, and I've read that, there's actually like music playing. It's like a very cozy, homey type of atmosphere in an Aaron's.
Yeah, culture is by far the most important thing in a business. And we have a great culture in our stores. It's very, very positive, it's very upbeat, and we compete with each other. One of the things that we do that's unique in franchising is we share all of the numbers of all of our stores, whether they be company stores or franchise stores, on a daily basis with everybody else in the system.
I have read that, yeah.
Everybody takes a look at the reports that came out this morning to see how everybody did in our almost 1,400 stores across the country yesterday. So we have a very, very upbeat, competitive, high-energy, fun atmospheres in our stores. And as long as we maintain that culture, I think we'll continue to thrive in the marketplace.
Yeah, that's interesting, Todd. I think it's a very healthy competition, and I imagine that, a lot of the franchisees, that's probably the first thing they do in the morning is when they get to the store, they look at the numbers.
Well, they absolutely do. We have a lot of franchisees that may live in a town and have some franchise stores in the town that they live in, but have stores in some contiguous markets that are maybe an hour, 2 hours, or whatnot away. And our system allows them to very, very effectively manage those stores without being in them every day.
Fantastic.
And those reports really allow us to do that, and it keeps us all competing with each other every day. And
it's healthy competition.
Right, that's a good point, Marty. And Todd, Marty and I, past guests we've had on, we've had several bring up the point of just trying to have fun and enjoy your work, because when you're in that type of mode, you're most likely going to be successful. And it seems like that's the atmosphere you have at AAN.A. So I'm sure that's why it's AAN.A. is so successful right now. With that whole attitude of the franchisee having fun. I'm sure, people don't like to go to work, obviously, if they're not enjoying it.
Yeah, it's culture, and we work very, very hard every day to maintain that culture in our system, and so far have been very successful at doing that.
Yeah, that's terrific. And I think, keeping score, too, Todd, I think is a good thing, because you can kind of identify problem areas, too, as well. I mean, as you say, somebody's going to be on top, but somebody's going to be on bottom, and then you can kind of like work with those, stores, I guess you could say, and see maybe what the problem actually is, and getting their numbers up.
Well, it's probably not too much fun for that person at the bottom, though.
Well, we know that we are only as strong as our weakest link, whether it be a company store or a franchise store out there. Right. And one of the things that we've done is we've identified our bottom 15%, our bottom performing stores. And we have awards for all of our top achievers. Every year at our managers meeting, folks get up on stage and they get plaques and they get rings and they win incentive trips. And the bottom 15% of our stores really don't have the opportunity to get up on stage and get the recognition that some of these really top-performing stores do. So we developed a program that we call our Most Improved Store. And we actually pull out our bottom 15%, track on a daily basis those stores in a separate report away from all of our other stores, and we give our bottom-performing stores an opportunity to win the Most Improved Store of the year. So we give them an opportunity to get up on stage as well. And since implementing that program here a few years ago, we've really found our bottom-performing stores stepping up and growing more quickly than they were prior to us implementing that program.
Right, give them incentive. I think that's a great idea. I'm sure even a lot of the bottom 10 of AAN's are probably more successful than a lot of other franchises.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, some of them are. This is a very unique business model.
That's fantastic. Todd, are you able to stick around for another segment?
Sure.
That's fantastic. Okay, so I think what we'll do here is we'll take another quick break, and we'll be right back with more franchise interviews on.
Need a business loan? Talk to Diamond Financial Services, the experts in franchise financing nationwide. Whether you're looking to start a franchise, acquire an existing franchise, or expand your territory through opening new locations, Diamond Financial stands by your side start to finish. From pre-qualification to packaging and presenting your application to securing a financial commitment and through the loan closing process, Diamond Financial is there. While you're waiting, thousands of others are making their financial dreams come true. Don't wait any longer. Pre-qualify now by completing a confidential, no-obligation financial analysis. Let's face it, traditional banks just aren't in the business of financing small business. At Diamond Financial, we specialize in securing franchise loans from $100,000 to $3 million and equipment leasing up to $150,000. Let us help you get started. Go to www.franchisefunding.net or call 877-508-2274. That's franchisefunding.net, 877-508-2274.
Coming up in part 2, they were ranked number 21 all-in-one in Entrepreneur Magazine's Top Franchise 500 out of thousands of franchise concepts. They're also ranked number 3 by Forbes Magazine among the top 20 franchise for the buck. We're going to bring Todd Evans, the Vice President of Aaron's, back into the studio to discuss where Aaron's is today in 2013, and that's coming right up on Franchise Interviews. So stick around because we got a great show.
Are you looking for a franchise that delivers? Businesses will always need shipping, and for more than 25 years, loyal customers have depended on Unishippers for reliable savings and exceptional customer service. Unishippers is focused on just one thing: helping small and medium-sized businesses save time and money on all their shipping needs. And as the largest reseller of complete shipping services in the country, we have the buying power to ensure that we succeed. The Unishippers franchise offers low startup costs, no equipment or real estate required because they're not retail, residual income, and a quality of life and work-life balance. For more information on becoming a Unishippers franchisee, go to www.unishippers.com and click Franchise Opportunities or call Franchise Development at 801-708-5822. That's 801-708-5822.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 7 years now, we've been asking the entrepreneurs one-on-one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott, and I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and we have a great show today. Today, Franchise Interviews is celebrating 7 years and our 350th show with the Aaron's Franchise Opportunity. And Aaron's is North America's leader in sales and lease ownership of household necessities, which includes brand-name furniture, appliances, electronics, and computers. Today we're meeting with the Vice President of Aaron's, Todd Evans. We'll talk about that in just a moment on Franchise Interviews. So stick around because we got a great show.
Are you one of those special people who are willing to go after your dreams and goals? Are you ready to fulfill that dream of owning your own business with the security of a proven brand? The opportunity to take control of your future and own a Rita's Italian Ice franchise is within your reach.
Rita's is seeking success-oriented individuals who are ready to make a change in their life, and Rita's offers unparalleled training and support to assure your success. And did you know the frozen treat industry is a recession-proof industry, and there are Rita's in 23 states currently with 540 stores open. Rita's Italian Ice has been around for 25 years and is listed as a top-performing franchise by the Wall Street Journal.
Now here's the really good part. Rita's Italian Ice is a unique and amazing taste treat. It's smoother than a snow cone, and it combines ice with real fresh fruit. The real fruit adds dramatically to the taste, and it comes in over 40 flavors. The ice and fruit are mixed on site and made fresh daily, and it is delicious.
You'll want to know more about this exciting and successful franchise opportunity. Go to www.ownaritas.com and get all your questions answered. That's www.ownaritas.com to take control of your dreams and future today. You don't want to wait any longer to be a part of this adventure. www.ownaritas.com.
Are you looking for a franchise that delivers? Businesses will always need shipping, and for more than 25 years, loyal customers have depended on Unishippers for reliable savings and exceptional customer service. Unishippers is focused on just one thing: helping small and medium-sized businesses save time and money on all their shipping needs. And as the largest reseller of complete shipping services in the country, we have the buying power to ensure that we succeed. The Unishippers franchise offers low startup costs, no equipment or real estate required because they're not retail, residual income, and a quality of life and work-life balance. For more information on becoming a Unishippers franchisee, go to www.unishippers.com and click Franchise Opportunities or call Franchise Development at 801-708-5822. That's 801-708-5822.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 7 years now, we've been asking the entrepreneurs of one-on-one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott. I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and as we were saying earlier, we have a great show today. Today, Franchise Interviews is celebrating 7 years and our 350th show with the AAN's Franchise Opportunity. And AAN's is North America's leader in sales and lease ownership of household necessities, which includes brand-name furniture, appliances, electronics, and computers. And today we're meeting with the Vice President of AAN's, Todd Evans. Hey, Todd, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Marty. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well, Todd. It's great to have you on the show. This is a very big show for us. And, as you know, we had you on the show 7 years ago, didn't we? And it seems like yesterday, doesn't it?
It does. I have twin boys that are 10 years old now, and it's amazing how time flies when you have kids.
It's crazy. So that means that they were 3 years old when you were on the show last. So they were babies at the time.
Yep.
That's something. Well, it's like that. I asked our guest, where are you calling from today, Todd?
Atlanta, Georgia.
That's fantastic. And that's where everything started, isn't it, for AAN's?
Yeah, AAN's was actually founded in 1955 here in Atlanta. Charlie Loudermilk, our now retired chairman and CEO, started the business off renting folding chairs to auction houses for 10 cents a day.
That's amazing, isn't it? The story. I remember you telling the story, 7 years ago, Todd, and I think Charlie's expectations for the company was, I guess, to do like $1 million in revenue.
Yeah. He tells that story frequently, that his dream when he started AAN's is, if he could just get to $1 million in revenue, that he would be set. And this year, AAN's is projected to sell way past $3 billion in system-wide revenue.
That's an incredible number, isn't it? And you've been with the company now for a long time now, and I know you were a very big part of that growth. I was reading before the show today, this morning, the great article that they wrote about you in Franchise Times magazine, and they actually put you guys on the cover this time, didn't they? That was fantastic.
Yeah, they did. Nancy is a phenomenal writer, and our largest franchisee is Charles Smithgall, and he was actually on the cover. Charles, I think, has 105 stores open at this hour and has just been incredibly successful with the AAN's system, and we're so proud of all of his accomplishments. And his short-term goal is to add another 100 stores, so he's growing very, very aggressively.
It's incredible. I don't know if you would remember this. I mean, when I asked you 7 years ago, what's been the most interesting thing that's happened to you, Todd? You mentioned that, just sitting down, you're just watching the franchisees and what happens to their lives after becoming a franchisee with AAN's, and I remember you telling a story. You were sitting down with a gentleman, I guess it was a prospective franchisee, and I think it was in a Denny's. And, it was like a year or two later, he was showing you pictures of his house in Hawaii. What does that feel like for you? And is that still like the same thrill for you today, 7 years later?
It absolutely is. I am so passionate and enjoy working with our franchisees on a daily basis, because franchisees really keep it real. They have that incredible entrepreneurial spirit, that gleam in their eye. And they're so focused and passionate about running their businesses because they have it all on the line. They have, they've put up their entire life savings to get these things up and underway, and to see them properly implement and execute the system as it's designed, and to see their net worth grow, and to see them be able to provide for their families and make their personal dreams come true, really, while fulfilling the needs of our customers, is just incredibly rewarding. I really enjoy doing that.
I can imagine. For our listeners who may be unfamiliar with AAN's, maybe if you could talk a little bit about the AAN's franchise system, Todd.
Sure. Well, AARN's is we're a New York Stock Exchange publicly traded company. The symbol is AAN.A. I'm sorry, I don't even recall off the top of my head.
That's okay.
It's AAN. Sorry, traded on the New York Stock Exchange. And we ended the third quarter of this year with 1,242 company-operated stores, all in the States, 760 franchise stores open in the U.S. and in Canada. We have another couple of smaller divisions that we're tinkering with right now. One's called HomeSmart. We have 78 company-operated stores with that division as it stands right now, 3 franchise stores. We have 23 company-owned Remco stores, which are stores that basically lease wheels and tires, and 5 franchised Remco stores for a total of 2,111 stores at the end of the third quarter. Amazing.
That's really, it is amazing. I mean, even from, again, from when we had you on the show 7 years ago, and we were looking at the growth that's just taken place in AARN's, it really is quite fascinating, and I could tell you've been very busy over the last 7 years. But
well, I tell you, when I started with AARN's in June of 1991, we had 19 sales and lease ownership stores in the system.
Did you really?
So it's been quite a ride, I tell you. It's really been a lot of fun to grow this thing to well over 2,000 stores, and we continue to chug along and add stores on a daily basis.
That's fantastic. How has technology changed since we last spoke to you 7 years ago? Has there been any changes, over the last 5 to 7 years, Todd, in technology at AARN's?
There has, and technology certainly impacting everybody's lives in many different ways. I think for us, it's 2 things. We have really developed a point-of-sale system that is much more sophisticated now at the unit level, and we have the ability to pull data and share data with all of our stores, both company and franchise, on a daily basis, which has been an incredible tool for us. Every day when I come in, there's a report on my desk that tells me how every store did across the system, company and franchise, yesterday. How many deliveries they made, how many returns they made, what their deposit was. And as the company has gotten bigger and bigger, our goal is to make it harder and harder for these general managers to hide, behind bad numbers, if you will. So the ability to share system-wide numbers with everybody on a daily basis is wonderful because we have a very competitive atmosphere here. And we all compete with each other on a daily basis to see which stores can outdo the other stores. So personalizing our business and working very, very hard to keep it small as we've gotten bigger and bigger has been a big challenge for us, but leveraging technology has really helped us out in that vein. And then I guess the other thing is really products. With us leasing big-ticket consumer durable goods, primarily household electronics, televisions, and items like that, it forces us to keep fresh products in front of our customers. We've gone from the big 52-inch RCA tube television sets that weighed about 700 pounds. It was very, very difficult to deliver to the third floor of an apartment complex to high-def flat panels. So the technology at the unit level has really improved a lot as well, primarily in the TV category.
I think that's what keeps things interesting, I guess, for the AARN's franchisees and you as well, is, all these changes in technology, as you mentioned, with the changes like in flat-screen TVs and things like that. It's just the variety of products that you're bringing in every year is changing, So, AARN's is always changing at the same time, and you have to stay on top of all that, I guess, don't you?
We do, and we have a big initiative now where we're really trying to leverage up mobile technology. I mean, that's definitely the direction that everybody is going in, and it provides us with some nice vehicles to communicate with our customers in a very personal way. So we're really trying to leverage that up, as well as, of course, the internet. The challenge with our business, as in with any business, is before somebody leases a bedroom set, they're going to want to lay on that mattress. They're going to want to see how it feels before they lease that sofa. They're going to want to sit on it to make sure it's comfortable. So we're trying to leverage technology as much as we can in a business that requires physical touches, and I think we're getting there.
That's fantastic. What I liked about the whole competitive atmosphere of Aaron's, as well as I remember, 7 years ago you discussing, there's always someone on top and there's always someone on bottom. And I know Aaron's has some great, motivational, awards, I guess you could say, where you kind of take the bottom, I guess you could say 15%. Are you guys still doing something like that, where they have an opportunity to kind of shine and the most improved franchisee over time, where they get to improve themselves? Again, it was a long time ago, 7 years ago.
No, we and that program has been incredibly effective for us, and we still do that today.
You do, okay, and I think that's great.
And, at 30,000 feet, we have some tremendous stores out there, huge volumes, large customer bases, and again, we have this competitive atmosphere. So the guys all compete to be the store of the year, and they win an incentive trip. It's typically to a tropical place. It's very, very nice. But the guys that are, at the lower levels, there's just no way that they can compete with, really the top dogs out there.
Right.
But a company is only as strong as its weakest link.
Yeah.
So we developed this program to really focus on some of our bottom stores and let those general managers compete with themselves, and we shine a bright light on them, and we help support them and try to make them successful as they grow their stores. And the top bottom store, if you will, gets to go on the trip along with the top producers. Very exciting program, and it's all about motivating those general managers.
Yeah, I think that's so important. I think also, too, is having all those, the corporate stores as well, Todd, helps, doesn't it, as far as, understanding what the franchisees are going through. We've had a lot of concepts on the shows throughout the years, and sometimes in some cases, they hardly have any corporate stores. It's just all franchising, So having those corporate stores certainly helps, doesn't it, as far as understanding the industry and the customer as well, doesn't it?
It does, and you bring up a great point there. The beauty of being an Aaron's franchisee, with us having, over 1,200 company stores out there, we have the dirt of this business under our fingernails.
Yeah.
We know intimately what it's like to run these stores. And if a franchisee calls me and says, "Hey, Todd, I want to change this one thing, what do you think?"
Right.
Odds are I can say, well, it'll affect 6 things. It'll affect the first thing these 4 ways, and the second thing these 3 ways. Because we're just so incredibly steeped in unit-level operations. And the other thing is our company stores serve as an incredible business incubator for us to test new concepts and new products, determine whether they're going to be successful before we roll them out in the franchise store. So it's a tremendous advantage to the franchisees to have that, that base of company stores to serve as a platform for the franchise system to jump off on.
Yeah, that's so important. How has the industry changed over the last 5 to 7 years, Todd? I mean, what's going on in the industry as far as where the industry's at as far as sales and lease?
Well, it's changed a lot, and the industry itself today, according to AAN.A, which is the trade association for our industry, it's about an $8.5 billion a year industry. There's probably 10,400 stores across the United States, Mexico, and Canada, and the industry serves about 4.8 million households. And, very seldom do you get the opportunity to kind of pat yourself on the back.
Right.
But I think the industry has improved dramatically over the last 7 years as a result of Aaron's influence in the industry.
Right.
And what I mean by that is we've come into the industry and done really 3 big things. We've opened up bigger stores, giving our customers a broader selection of merchandise, just more to choose from than was typically offered in the industry. The second thing that we've done is we've brought a better value proposition to the party. The total cost of ownership is just less at an Aaron's compared to many of the competitors out there. And then the third thing is that we work with our customers a little bit more if they can't afford to make the monthly lease payments. Our goal is to really try to get that customer to ownership if their desire is to get to ownership with that product. And as a result of those three big things that Aaron's has done in the industry, the entire industry has had to change and really upgrade its image and upgrade its performance to compete with us in the marketplace. So it's very rewarding to see the entire industry raising up and becoming more professional and more like traditional retailers out there. But that's been the biggest change, and I think Aaron's has been the catalyst for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that. And I think, to the brand name, I think it's probably a lot stronger today than it was strong 7 years ago. I remember reading about, I think it was one of your franchisees, Spencer Smith. He heard about Aaron's. I think it was on a commercial or something like that. He was watching NASCAR or something like that. It seems like there's more Aaron's today. So I think Aaron's is certainly a more stronger name today also, than it was 7 years ago. The brand is a lot more strong today, isn't it? And it seems like it keeps getting stronger.
Well, and that's been one of our initiatives. It's funny, as we've grown the system, we were doing some broadcast television advertising. Of course, we do the sports marketing things with NASCAR and some others. But we realized that Aaron's was buying individual TV spots in select DMAs across the country. Our franchisees were buying television spots, and we did an analysis, very fundamental analysis, and figured if we bought on a national basis, we could get substantially more coverage for the same dollar. We're not the brightest folks in the world here, but we kind of figured that one out. So by pooling our collective advertising dollars, both corporate and franchise, we were able to do a national media buy on an annual basis, and that has really worked wonders for us in branding the company.
That's fantastic. What do you look for in your franchisees today, Todd? I mean, what characteristics or traits do you look for?
Good question. Primarily, it's a self-starter. We're looking for somebody who has really earned their way up in business. Aaron's is not an inexpensive franchise to get involved in. You typically need to have, approximately $450,000 in liquidity to open one store, and you have to have the financial wherewithal to set up an inventory financing facility for somewhere in that same range, $450,000 to $500,000. So it's not an inexpensive franchise to get into, and we have found that our most successful franchisees are folks that maybe started off with not a lot, but have worked diligently to become successful in business themselves. This is an operationally very intense business, so we need somebody who understands what it means to focus on operations. The other thing, and I guess this is somewhat cliched, but this is very much so a people-oriented business. I always say there's only two businesses out there that have a more intimate relationship with their customers than Aaron's, and that's a doctor and a patient and a pharmacist and a patient. Besides that, Aaron's has a very, very intimate relationship with our customers because, we know where they live, we know, when they get paid, we know how much they get paid, we know when they run into financial problems. We have second generation, third generation folks who trade with us, but it's very much a neighborhood-based business, and we do most of our business within the shadow of the flagpole that's in front of the stores. So it's important that our general managers and our franchise principals understand that and have that that people-oriented mentality to really work with the customers. But those are really the two primary things that we look for: self-starters and people-oriented.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. It seemed, too, that there was some diversity, too, in looking at your franchisees. They come from diverse backgrounds as well. I recall like accountants or just there was some diversity there, which I think certainly adds to the franchise, doesn't it?
It does, and there's tremendous diversity. We go from CPAs to business owners, to lawyers to corporate executives. Right. We are across the board on the nature of our franchise principles out there, and that diversity, I think, has really helped Aaron's be successful through the years because, as I said, with that base of company stores, we have a real good platform to jump off of, but that entrepreneurial spirit of our franchisees and those creative ideas that they bring to the party, a lot of times we'll implement in our, in those franchise stores and our company stores to see if it works. So that diversity has really added to the constantly evolving Aaron's concept out there.
That's fantastic. One of the things you were doing 7 years ago, and you can tell I've listened to this show 100 times probably since I've had you on the show, but it was quite interesting. I thought that, a lot of times with prospective franchisees, you would actually bring them in to an Aaron's, and you'd let them actually work the floor and the back room and everything like that. And I thought that was always something that stood out for me because it really gave someone a good opportunity to see what this business is all about, because you wanted to make sure that it was a match for them, and they liked you, you liked them, and et cetera, et cetera. Do you guys still allow prospective franchisees to do that today?
Yeah, allow and recommend is probably a better word, or maybe strongly encourage is a better words for it.
Right.
But to that point, you can read about a business all you want to. You can study the numbers in a business all you want to, but until you actually get in there and touch and feel the business, and greet that customer on the showroom floor, ask them what they're interested in, take them to a product, feature benefit, lease that product, and then actually call the customers or visit the customers, on the renewals process. You never really know what the business is all about until you've actually done it yourself. And it's been really a testament to the success of the franchise system through the years. And I'll have to give credit where credit's due on that, and that's really with Greg Tanner, our National Director of Franchise Development, who really serves as a sentinel standing at the door of Aaron's and only letting prospective franchisees in that have the proper prerequisites to be successful in this business. And that was a program that Tanner implemented, and it has worked extremely well because we say no to a lot of people that want to acquire an Aaron's franchise who really want to, but we don't feel like they have the right prerequisites. The ones that do, actually know what the business is all about at the unit level, which I think is critical to their long-term success and to our long-term success. So, hats off to Greg Tanner for implementing that program with us.
Absolutely. I think that's so important. So what's next? I mean, in 7 years, we'd like to have you guys back on the show again. What do you see, in the future, for Aaron's? What's next?
Well, growth is what's next. We're going to continue to add sales and lease ownership stores across the United States and in Canada. We've got this fledgling division, HomeSmart, which is in a similar business but caters to a slightly different customer demographic. I mean, there's hotel companies that have kind of higher-end brand hotels and then more moderate and then lower-end brand motels or hotels, and we're doing the same thing with our concept. So HomeSmart caters to a different demographic, so we want to grow that division as well. And we've made an investment in a firm over in the UK called Perfect Home, who is in this business, and we are working with them about, who knows, one day potentially acquiring that company Maybe we will, maybe we won't, but that serves as a wonderful platform for us for some pan-European expansion. So we're taking a look at Europe to see what we can come up with over there as well.
Wow, that's fantastic. So you might be heading over there. It sounds like you're going to be traveling a lot, Todd, over the next several years.
Well, it's funny. I already do. I have responsibilities basically from San Diego to Newfoundland, Canada, from from Miami to Vancouver, British Columbia, and with this thing in the UK, I've made several trips over there, and we've actually traveled down to Australia and New Zealand as well, studying folks that are in our business in those markets. So it's time for us to expand our business beyond North America, and we think there's tremendous opportunity out there for us to do that.
One of the reasons we selected AAN for this show, and I mentioned to you that this has always been a very big show for us, is I think the thing that stood out for AAN as well is not only the growth, but even it seems like there's an interesting culture in studying the AAN's franchise opportunity. And I think it's probably one of the reasons, I guess, you've been there such a long time. And I can always sense, the several occasions I've spoken to you, the passion in your voice with AAN's. And everyone else at the company. What is that attributed to? I mean, how did they do that? It's not easy to do. Yet you guys seem to do it so easily.
Well, that's a great question, and let me just say, you hire tough and you manage easy. Mm-hmm. You select franchisees tough, and then you manage franchisees easy. I think it's really all about, surrounding yourself with people that have, the same desires and the same passion for success that you do. And one of the key things that we look for is people that are motivated by achievement, people who don't care who gets the credit as long as the job gets done. I was reading an interesting book that really brought all this into focus for me here about 6 months ago. It's called Heart-Centered Leadership. Mm-hmm. And an interesting paragraph, most fascinating paragraph in that book to me is that the heart starts to beat in an embryo before the brain is formed. And everybody thinks that the brain, the mind, controls the body. Right. But it was fascinating to me that the heart starts to beat, and it does it on its own, before the brain's ever formed. Right. And I think that just falls back to, and you've heard this before, follow your heart.
Sure, absolutely.
Follow your heart. If your heart's really in something, that's where the passion and that's where the energy's going to come from. If you let your mind drive that, then you get delusional and you really miss it. But if your heart is in something and you're really passionate about it, then I've just found that you will do well at it. You will thrive because you really enjoy what it is that you do. And I think that's really what we look for. We look for people that have that sparkle in their eye, that have that passion to compete, that passion to succeed. And we all do it together. We see everybody's numbers every day. Everybody sees everything from everybody every day, and we compete with ourselves more so with the competitors out there in the industry. And I think that's the big reason that AAN's has been successful through the years is creating that culture.
Wow, that's very powerful. We have a great quote in franchising, and we're going to have to put that in there. That's one of the best pieces of advice I've heard. That's fantastic. Well, I want to thank you, Todd. It's been a privilege and a pleasure to know you throughout the years, and again, have you back and watch all the success, that you've had at AAN's. It's really been quite fascinating. I forgot to mention that Entrepreneur ranked you guys number 21. I guess it was in their top 500, and there's another great one. It was number 3 in Forbes, I guess, among the top 20 franchises for the buck. So congratulations on all those accolades. And again, I'm a big fan. I'm going to continue to watch AAN's and wish you a happy Thanksgiving as well. It was great to have you on the show.
Marty, thank you very much. I'm honored for the invitation.
Thank you, Todd. It was my pleasure, and we'll be right back with more franchise interviews. Thanks, Todd.